Good evening, everyone. Peace and blessings to you. My name is Reverend Leah Alvarado. I'm with New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to the season for Nonviolence. Every day we come together for a total of 64 days. Each day we practice a different principle of peace and nonviolence based on the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. So glad that you're with me today. Today is day 43, and our topic is justice for all. Gandhi said, "The first condition of nonviolence is justice all around in every department of life." How often do we hear people complain, "It's not fair," when what they really mean is, "It's not just." Justice and fairness are two entirely different things. In fact, what people really mean when they use the word fair is usually the childish concept of, "I want it my way." Fair used in the context of justice frequently means, "I want my idea of justice given to me the way I want it, and I want it now." We're not talking here about the human justice or legal system, however. What passes for justice in the world is about manipulating the laws to give us the results we want. True justice is just another name for the law of cause and effect, or the law of natural consequences. This law of higher justice is something difficult to live with, as it judges all equally. Nonviolence requires that we allow this law to apply to every living being evenly and consistently. This means that our every action should be governed by this law and applied in every area of life, professionally, personally, politically, and philosophically. We do not get to apply them differently to one group over another because we agree with one group and not the other, or because one group supports us and the other opposes. Nonviolence requires that we embrace this larger idea of justice, where we allow the laws of natural consequences to be applied evenly, consistently, and equitably to all and in every area of our lives. This means it starts in our families and our friendships, and then expands out into all areas of human interaction. It means that we desire justice for everyone, including those who oppose us and use violence against us. Only in this way can nonviolence become a reality in our lives and in our world. So the first question that I have for you today. Hi, Dennis. Thanks for being here. So the first question is, what does justice mean to you? And I'd love to see any comments in the chat if you'd like to share that. What does justice mean to you? When you think about justice, what meaning do you give that? How would you define that for yourself? And the next question is, how do you feel about this idea of a higher justice, where everyone is judged equally? This is a slightly different definition than what we're used to. This idea of a higher justice, and that's really what the title of this session today is a higher justice for all. And so how do you feel about that versus the justice that we see in our court system and in the law? It is different. And so how does that land for you as you think about that in your life? Fairness. Okay, so Dennis says fairness. Yeah. And as I was saying earlier, though, I think it's much deeper than that, because it's really about this idea of the law of natural consequence, the law of cause and effect, that when we take an action in our life, there is an effect to that. And that's true for all of us. That's true for every single person on this planet. Yeah. That there is always a consequence to our actions, and the consequence may result in something positive, and it may result in something negative. But there's always a consequence to it. There's always an effect to the actions that we're taking. And this is true for every single person on this planet. And so when we think about the things that are going on in the world, the things that we have witnessed, the hard things that we have witnessed, the painful things that we have witnessed, when we recognize that there is justice for all, that there is this higher justice for all, how does that feel? As you think about these things, that harm that people have deliberately caused, the hate that we have witnessed, what happened on January 6th, the riots at the Capitol. If there's justice for all, then what do we see happening for individuals? There were the riots up on the Hill in Boulder, CU Boulder students and others who participated in that and caused tremendous damage to vehicles and threw rocks and bricks at law enforcement. What are the consequences of their actions? Yes, sure, the hope is that those who caused harm will be arrested. But on a deeper level, what are the consequences that they're going to experience? On a soul level, what are the effects of their actions? So when we look at it from that perspective, it's much deeper. It's much deeper than just, well, we know that they'll likely get arrested, they'll put in jail, maybe some will go to prison. Yes, but more than that, what kind of effect are they going to experience in their life? And the hope is that on a soul level, there is learning there. There is a shift that is taking place as a result of those actions, and something will change. Something will change within them that will impact how they interact with the world and the behaviors going forward. Yeah. So our affirmative practice today, I'm going to put that in the chat, and let's say that together. Doug, thank you for that. I love what you said. Higher justice is the result of accepting Christ consciousness as your measure. Yeah, that's the Christ consciousness, this consciousness of love, the consciousness of acceptance, the consciousness, this expansive consciousness that all of us have within us. And some of us get it though, and there are many who don't. There are many that don't recognize that. And that's part of this soul's evolution. That's part of our journey. Yeah. So here's our affirmative practice for today. Let's say this together. I will meditate on what justice is to me. What is justice to me? I will meditate on that. Today, I will be an impartial observer of how justice is or is not applied in the world around me. An impartial observer is a neutral observer. And that's an interesting practice in and of itself, to witness things in the world and to hold that neutral place. Be an innocent observer, not allowing anything to stick, not reacting or getting triggered, just observing. Today, I will know for each person I interact with the truth that the divine law of justice is operating in their life. Not as a punishment, not as if this person's being punished, but this higher order of things in the universe is taking place. And trusting that divine order of things. Yeah. Whether I agree with them or not, this is the path of nonviolence. So let's just take a moment and quiet the mind. Whatever chatter is there, just letting that go. Just checking in with ourselves about this topic of justice. If we believe in fairness, then what does that look like? What does that feel like? If we believe in this idea of a higher order, this idea of a higher justice, how does that impact what we see in the world? How does that impact these events of the world? What happened on January 6th? What happened on March 6th in Boulder? What's happening in other parts of the world? How does that impact what we see and our perspective? I think what it does is it causes us to trust, to move into that energy of trust, to know that there is a divine order to things, that things are unfolding in the absolute perfect way for every single person on this planet. And so practicing witnessing these things from that neutral observer place, from that higher place, allows us to remain in that place of peace and trust that everything is unfolding in divine right order. And so let's just move into the silence and just contemplate this for a few moments. And so gently coming back, taking a deep breath. Let peace begin with you. I'm knowing that as we continue to do this work together, that we are transforming. We are transforming our consciousness. And as we do that for ourselves, we do that for our families, for our friends, for our communities, and for the world. Thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow is day 44, and we'll be talking about compassion for others. I hope you have a blessed evening and that you're staying warm and toasty inside with all the snow that we're getting. Have a blessed night. Namaste.